Welcome to Takedown DFS. We got another great card here. Last card was definitely interesting. Sean O'Malley had a hell of a fight against Chris Moutinho. He put up over 200 significant strikes in 3 rounds. That was crazy. And Chris Moutinho is standing there and ate them all until Herb Dean wouldn't let the kid go another 30 seconds. It was crazy. But then we got some other great fights there. Gilbert Burns put on a show against Stephen Thompson. I thought Thompson would stuff the takedown a little bit more, but the control by Gilbert Burns was amazing. I think him working with that kickboxing coach really helped out Gilbert Burns' game to get in on Thompson. And then, of course, the main event. McGregor hit Poirier with some shots. Poirier hit him with some back, got on top of him. Didn't seem like he was doing too much to me. And looks like if you watch that fight back, McGregor, when he had him in the guillotine, had the neck cranked and pulled to the side, and Poirier used his toes to get out. So I'm not sure if he would have finished him there, but it definitely was closer if he didn't illegally use the toes. But then McGregor had a little bit of an arm grab, and then he ended up having I think it was the kick to the elbow that re-aggravated a fracture that he had, and stepped back and gruesome injury. You hate to see it like that because everyone's saying Poirier definitely would have won, but in the second round, it's an MMA fight. Anyone can win these. So, crazy fight. Sad that the main event had to happen that way. Hoping McGregor a speedy recovery. I love to watch his fights. But this week we got another one. It might not be to the main the outsiders looking in, but UFC fighters know who Islam Makhachev is. It's Khabib's boy. He's coming up in that same division against Thiago Moises. So it should be a good one. We got Misha Tate returning against Marion Renault. We got a couple other good fights in this card. So let's just get right into it. All right, this first fight starts off with an absolute banger. We got Rodrigo Nacimiento at minus 325 versus Alan Badu at plus 250, $21 versus $8 fighter. And this is plus 320 to go the distance, minus 460 to not. So they're thinking of finish early here. So you might really want Rodrigo here. So Nacimiento is a jiu-jitsu guy. He tried to strike last time and got his head popped. So he doesn't really move his head too well when he strikes. So he's a jiu-jitsu guy. Just get in on guys, wrestle them, take them down. I think that's what Rodrigo does. Badu is a very wild striker. So Badu is a guy that'll run in there and strike without any concern for his well-being. So one of those guys that he's either going to hit you with a crazy shot, but more likely than not, he's going to get hit himself with one or get taken down. His last fight, Badu got submitted, but they overturned it for a win because the guy tested for a performance-enhancing substance. So that's why he has that extra win on his record, which is pretty crazy. Then he lost to Aspinall after that. But Badu is not UFC caliber, I don't think, at this point. But he has enough power to where he could land a strike. But I think that's his only option here. So that's why it's such crazy finish odds, because he's either going to get finished or get a lucky shot. So Nacimiento could definitely submit him, and I could see that happening early. I just don't know if it's going to be that what you want in the MVP spot, but I see Rodrigo Nacimiento winning by finish, so I'm going to do a lot to try and get him in my lines at $21. So Badu has that spinning back fist, so maybe he could land that. So if you want to take a flyer on Badu at $8 in lineups you don't have Nacimiento, go for it. But Nacimiento should be a priority since he should get an early finish in this fight. Next up, we have Francisco the Sniper Figueiredo versus Malcolm X Gordon. Everyone knows Davison's brother. They look at him just like Davison. They look at him in this weight class and they try and compare the two. They're comparative similarly, but they're way different fighters. Davison Figueiredo is out of this world. But Francisco Figueiredo is a $20 fighter. It's a $9 fighter in Gordon. And minus 310 on the Figueiredo side, plus 240 coming back on Malcolm Gordon, and plus 152 to go the distance. So this is the thing. This is the breakdown here. Fig needs a space. He likes to strike at range or clinch. That's what he does. He either strikes at range or clinches. He doesn't like to strike on the inside. And Malcolm Gordon will pressure and look to tire him out on the mat. I just don't think he's going to be able to get it there. It's going to be tough for him to do that more than once. And it comes down to Fig's defensive jiu-jitsu, because Malcolm Gordon should be able to get in on him in certain parts of this fight. And I think Francisco Figueiredo should have enough jiu-jitsu, and the line is definitely saying that. But it's the durability of Malcolm Gordon. We haven't really seen his durability tested, so Is Figueiredo the guy to do that? I don't know. I think it's just a name thing at this point. But Fig is a good fighter, just not that, like, where he's at, where I think he should be minus 310 here. But Fig doesn't have the power like his brother at all. But against a guy like Malcolm Gordon, the power he has might be enough. So that's why I'm thinking Figueiredo could catch him and get the finish here. But the line's heavy on Figueiredo for a reason. So that's the thing where I think it's closer than it is, but the line's heavy on Figueiredo for a reason because I think he has enough power against this type of guy. When he goes up and moves up a little higher, it should have an issue. But I see Figueiredo winning this fight 9 times out of 10. I see him either landing a finishing blow or just laying on him and getting a finish here. But I think he should be able to strike at range, clinch work until he's able to finish this guy. So I prefer Nacimiento to him at the above $20 price tag, but I like Figueiredo to get the win here. Here we go. We got Miles Johns at minus 188 versus Anderson Dos Santos at plus 152. Miles Johns is an $18 fighter to Anderson Dos Santos at 13 and minus 148 to go the distance. They believe it will. As long as John's gas tank is good, he should be able to win a decision here. He's a little bit better than Anderson Dos Santos in a lot of areas. So I think he should be able to control this fight to a point. I just don't know how fun of a fight this is going to be and fun for fantasy scoring as well. So John's ceiling is not high, but should do enough to beat Dos Santos. That's what I'm saying. And Dos Santos is old and underwhelming at 35, like soon to be 36 years old in like a month or 2 weeks or something. I just think Miles Johns is the guy. He's coming up. Like Anderson Dos Santos, he's a decent fighter, but like he's pretty much like Miles Johns, but like a little bit like they're pretty much fighting each other almost at the same point. Where it's like I think I'm gonna lean Miles Johns here because I think he's the better fighter. I think he's gonna eke out a decision. I think it's gonna be a split. So could Anderson Dos Santos possibly get the win here? Yeah, I'm not saying he can't. But at the same time, I think Miles Johns is just a little bit better, and that's why the odds are reflecting that way. So I'm not going to have a lot of this fight at all. But, yeah, I think Miles Johns gets the win. Here we go. We got Khalid Taha versus Sergey Morzev, minus 162 on the Taha side, versus Morzev at plus 132. $17 and $14 fighter, and minus 186 to go the distance. We didn't get to see how good Morzev was in his last fight because he fought Umar Nurmagomedov. So yeah, Khabib's brother or cousin is going to be very hard to beat, like in a grappling match because he trains with Khabib. So yeah, it's tough to see how exactly Morzev's skill set in that. When he did rock Umar at one point in the fight, so that was good to see. But Morzev needs to throw more. So he's a guy that, like, if he just threw a little bit more volume, the judges would be like, wow, this guy's dominating the rounds. But a lot of his rounds come close because he doesn't throw that much volume. He only throws a few punches at a time. So he's got a good eye. He was able to get counter strikes on Umar. So, like, that's what he would do is second he would go for the kick. He'd do a nice jab and hit him a couple times. That's what he was able to hit him with the last fight. But Taha got beat really bad by Barcelos when in that fight, which really soured me on Taha there. And Taha is good wrestling and ground and pound, but you have to get on top of a guy, Sergey Morzev, that we haven't really seen the best of him yet, I don't think. So I think this line is a little swayed here. And I think the best version of Taha beats Morzev, but I don't know if we get that. We definitely did not get that versus Barcelos. So I'm going to lean the Morzev side here. I like the upset. I like the cheaper price tag to fit in some of those big guys. But yeah, I like Morzev to get a decision. Maybe eke it out at $14. I'll take a decision. So yeah, give me Sergey Morzev in the upset to go over Taha. Okay, we got Amanda Lamos minus 520 versus Monstarot Conejo Ruiz. $22 to $8. So, yeah, this is a heavy favorite. So, to go the distance, minus 108, which means it's a toss-up. But for a woman's fight, you see a lot of these lines at plus 300, or minus 300, minus 400 to go the distance. So, minus 108 is crazy. So, that means that they're leaning towards this could actually end in the finish, which Lamos does finish her opponent. So, Monstarot began in wrestling and then started to round things out. You saw the wrestling last time when she fought Cheyenne Bay. She had the head and arm throws where she flipped Cheyenne Bays over a bunch of times with the head and arm throws. and then sit there on top of her. And Cheyenne Bays got really mad at her, and they had a whole altercation after the fight too. But Lamos will have 4-inch height and reach advantage, which I think will benefit her a lot in this fight. And Muay Thai and grappling is on point, and she's never been taken down, Lamos, and has a 100% takedown rate. So, Lamos is very good, and I don't think Monstarot Ruiz is she's getting a very big step up in competition. So, Lamos is so powerful for this weight division, and that's where I don't know what Ruiz can do in this fight, except survive. So, Lamos is a sniper, also throws the leg kicks, so it's going to affect her a lot too. Monstarot needs to tire her out, but how does she do that when she has the height, reach advantage and doesn't get taken down? So, Monstarot did so many head and arm throws that she won't have that this fight. She definitely will not with the reach and height advantage and the skill set of Amanda Lamos. She was fighting a newcomer in Cheyenne Bays. But yeah, Lamos opened minus 250, made her way all the way to minus 520, which I think Lamos wins and wins easily and maybe finishes her late in the round. I'm not going to say this is kind of reminiscent of the Sean O'Malley, Chris Mutino, to where can Monstarot Ruiz survive to get Lamos more points before she finishes her? Or you get a decision, because even if O'Malley won the decision, he was the highest scorer by far. So I think we could see something like that. But this is where the daily fantasy side comes into this. Lamos is $22. I really like her for that price. So I'm going to play some Lamos. But I think Lamos wins this fight. And I'm going to say, yeah, she definitely wins this fight. That's what I'm going to go out on. But I still might have some Monstarot Conejo because she's $8. So she's the minimum price tag. If you're telling me that it's minus 108 to go the distance, this could go 3 rounds, and I could get 3 rounds of Monstarot Ruiz to where maybe she can get 40 or 50 points, and if I could fit the 3 of the top guys, where I said I already like Rodrigo Nacimiento, he gets a first round finish, 100 and something points. Lamos gets 100 and something points, and you get another person up top, like the one of the main event, Makachev, and he gets 100 and something points. The $8 could definitely help you out. Like the $8, if she gets you a 40 or 50, when a lot of these people are getting like 10s and 20s, she gonna get a 40 or 50 in a decision loss. So I'm gonna take some Monstarot Ruiz as well. So give me Lamos to win this fight handily and be a high scorer, which I don't think a lot of people will pay up for her. But I really like Lamos here, and Monstarot Ruiz can be played on FanDuel. To finish off the prelims, we got D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez, minus 310 versus Preston Parsons, pressure, plus 240, $20 and $10. We got Daniel Rodriguez and Preston Parsons here. Preston Parsons, let me talk to you about him. Well, first of all, it's plus 215 to go the distance. I think he'll end in a finish. Daniel Rodriguez is a tough guy, but Preston Parsons, let me tell you his background. He's out of Jacksonville. He has his own new gym now. He just created his new gym. Hopefully that's going well for him. And Preston Parsons is a submission specialist. He's 9-1 with 9 wins coming from submission. So, yeah, he's pretty good with the submissions here. So, D-Rod's got to avoid that, which minus 310, I think they think he does. But very tricky fight for Preston Parsons. This is a very tough ask for him, even though he's a submission specialist. We saw how well the submission specialist last week did in Grant, where he was doing barrel rolls the whole time until he got knocked out by Taporia. That was pretty bad, pretty embarrassing to be on his side. But D-Rod does well against the top 25 guys. So D-Rod's fought guys in the top 25 that had full camps coming against him. He's done very well and impressed. And now they got this kid that's coming up and to have to ask on a kid to come in and do that, which we've seen Terrence McKinney do and knock someone out. We've seen these guys come in and have crazy wins against these top guys, but it's just a tough ask for Parsons. Parsons is susceptible to be hit by like the advanced shots of D-Rod. D-Rod's going to be way too advanced in the stand-up, and he's going to be susceptible to these hits because I don't think he's going to be moving his head too well in the UFC. Probably going to have some nerves. But I think D-Rod is too soon for Parsons. I don't mind going to flyer on Parsons at $10. It gets that submission, just like the Terrence McKinney thing where he got that knockout. But yeah, I could see Parsons getting the submission somehow, some way. Crazy things have happened. But yeah, Daniel Rodriguez, I like him for $20. If I followed that price tag, I probably prefer Lamos and Nacimiento above him. But if I only have $20 and not the 21 or 22, give me D-Rod. Give me D-Rod over that. I'll take D-Rod over Francisco Figueiredo too. So yeah, I like D-Rod to get the win here. But Parsons is definitely live. On to the main card. We got Gabrielle Benitez coming back at a -194 versus Billy Quarantio at +154, -152 to go the distance. Weird pricing on FanDuel for this one. $18 versus a $16 fighter. Normally, when you have an $18 fighter, the other fighter is below $15. Like before, we had the odds on Miles Johns versus Anderson Dos Santos was -188 and +152, 18 and 13. And Gabriel Benitez, -184 and +154, 18 and 16. So I have no idea what FanDuel was doing with the pricing here, but if you want to take a dog shot, it's not even worth it for $2 price tag there. But Quarantio is known as the volume guy. He had a very unrealistic fight versus Gavin Tucker, like very out of ordinary. Like he was waiting for counter strikes there. Very weird fight from Quarantio. I was very shocked there. No volume at all, which he's known as the volume guy. So he counter struck and didn't use any volume. Yeah, but Benitez. This is the thing on Benitez. He's coming back. He throws great body and great leg kicks. They say he's one of the best leg kickers and best kickers in the entire UFC. Deadly leg kicks. Like, that's going to be tough for Billy to deal with and get in on him. But amazing, significant strike defense for Benitez. I think he has one of the top in the entire UFC or top in the division. And, yeah, I think that's going to edge him out in this. And I agree with the line, -194. So, if you fall at that $18 price tag, I think Benitez is going to win a decision here. But whenever someone's compromising a leg, you see what happens. Like, they can't move. It's easy to put someone down. So Billy Quarantio is a tough guy to take out of there. But I'm going to lean Benitez here. And if Quarantio was down to $12 or $11 or $13, I would take a shot at the dog here. But he's not. He's $16. You're going to pay over the $15 threshold for a guy that I don't think is going to win anyway. So I don't see a reason to go Quarantio here, but if you have the money, I'm fine going Benitez. Oof. There we go. Need some water. We got Rodolfo Vieira -250 versus Dustin Stoltzfus at +198. $19 for Rodolfo. $11 for Stoltzfus. +190 to go the distance. We have it here, and -260 to not, so they believe it will. It will not. They believe it will end in a finish. So whenever Rodolfo Vieira faces adversity, he ends up being awful. Like, pretty bad. So Rodolfo's wrestling complements his jiu-jitsu very well, but we'll get into the details of Rodolfo, which that's where I'm confused why it's only +190 to go the distance here. Because Rodolfo needs the submission before he tires, and he typically retires within 90 seconds to half a round. So Rodolfo's looked very bad after the first half of round one, which is crazy to say that that's how bad his conditioning is. But he's such a big guy for 185. You can see him in the picture here. Huge dude for a 185er. And so Stoltzfus throws a lot of different leg kicks. So there you go, another leg kicker. And Rodolfo needs to improve his cardio, but how much can you improve your cardio if you have half a round in you? So I don't see this fight going the distance. So I think it's either a early win for Rodolfo. I don't see why it would change, but I think it's either an early win for Rodolfo or he's not going to be able to stand and bang with this guy. And he should be able to use the kicks and all that. So Rodolfo by finish or he loses. That's what I'm having. So shot on the dog is fine with me. I like Dustin Stoltzfus. I think you could be able to kick this guy's legs apart. $11 price tag gets you up to the top guys. I'll go with that. But if Stoltzfus can run him down, Stoltzfus isn't an easy guy to take out of there. So give me Dustin Stoltzfus, the dog here. And hopefully we can tire out this big guy, Rodolfo Vieira, and he can get away from him for long enough to tire this dude out. So give me the underdog here and Dustin Stoltzfus in this one. Okay, we got Jeremy Stevens, +164 against Matthias Gamrot at -205. $19 to a $12 fighter. +114 to go the distance. So they believe that it will likelier end in a finish, but it's a toss-up. So Jeremy Stevens, you guys might remember him against Jakar Close at the weigh-ins. He pushed him, and he said, ow, my chest hurt from that. and he backed out of the fight. Now Jeremy Stephens is saying, I will never fight that guy again because of the way he backed out of that, all that stuff. Come on, fight me like a man. Jeremy Stephens is a tough dude. He's like, I would have knocked him out. We were co-main events. It would have been a big fight for both of them, and yeah, he backed out. So Stephens played the mind games with them, and apparently it worked out, or he had that bad of a chest injury from that push. But excuse me. Oof. Caught in my throat there. Taha Gamrot is great movement. That's the thing of him. He moves up and down, swaying the head movement, hard guy to hit. His nickname's Gamer. He's a gamer. He fights for your money there, and he touches up the body and the head, and he had a crazy ankle takedown where he grabs the ankle and pulls you down to him. So that's the way he does. He hits your body, head, like you don't know where this guy is. He's just moving, hard to hit. But Steven has a recklessness that I think helps him. He just goes in with a reckless abandon, but he's a tough dude. Like, he can knock you out. Very tough guy. But against Gamrot, that's hard. Got hard guy to hit. Like, maybe the recklessness helps him to get the shot on him. That it's so crazy. But we'll see in this because some of it help him because he has power from weird angles. Like, Stevenson could hit you with a shot that just barely hits and knock you down. Tough guy. If Stevens hurts him, Gamrot will go to the wrestling. So Gamrot has a couple different avenues here. Gamrot's definitely the more polished fighter for sure. But for a $19 to $12 matchup, a thing where I already like a bunch of the top $20 guys, I might take a dog shot here at Jeremy Stephens. I think Matthias Gamrot wins this fight. But I think at certain times, like there's a way in which Jeremy Stephens hits him with a shot that he's not able to go down to the wrestling. He hits him so bad that he doesn't know where he is. So I could see Stephens putting his lights out for $12. I'll take that risk. But at the same time, if you're trying to say who wins, I think the polished fighting of Gamrot and the movement allows him to win this fight. So if I'd have to say Gamrot wins the fight, but for DFS, I'll take the shot at Jeremy Stephens. On to the co-main event. Very weird pricing for the co-main event now. Marion Renault, $15 at plus 112. So, Miesha Tate, minus 138. Oh, that one's at 15. So, the favorite, what should she be at? $13. She's the cheaper fighter. I have no idea what's going on here. To go the distance is minus 280, so they believe it will. A lot of these women's fights end up going to decision. That's what I was saying before with the other fight, where it's crazy how that one was minus 108. But the question that everyone's going to be asking this week is, why is Miesha Tate coming back after those two back-to-back losses and years off? And then also, she's fighting Marion Renault, who's a 44-year-old gym teacher who's tough as nails. So that's nothing bad about her. It's just saying, like, she's 44 years old and a gym teacher and she's still doing this. That's bad fucking ass. But, like, where are you going? You're not going to go run for a title, I don't think. Miesha Tate, what is she going to do? Because she tried to do the best of her own game and got pieced up by Amanda Nunes. So does she think she can come back and beat Amanda Nunes? I don't think anyone in the world can beat Amanda Nunes. So it's a question of why is Miesha Tate coming back? That's the real question here. But Tate can box, but she's more of a wrestling specialist. That's what she did. She tried to do that against Amanda Nunes because you can't box Amanda Nunes, and she a wrestler too, so that's why I don't understand why she's coming back. But Renault can be controlled on her back. Sometimes she just accepts the position on her back and just lets the person on top work because she doesn't 44 years old, you're probably getting tired in these fights now. But Tate looks good, but she's fighting a 44-year-old, she looks good. And, she probably is not going to make a run at the title, but she's fighting a 44-year-old gym teacher coming off 4 straight losses, which she's a tough girl, but coming off 4 straight losses, this should be the fight where she can do this. But the thing is, if Marino gets off to a hot start, Miesha Tate doesn't take damage well, so it's going to be very tough for her to eat some of these shots, especially now with the years off. And Renault can take a beating and stick in there. So that's the thing is, can Miesha Tate keep going for 3 rounds against Marion Renault, who you know is going to be tough? But I'm going to take the lean with the favorite here, Miesha Tate, cheaper fighter, $13. So at $13, and I think she wins, even if by decision. I think she could score enough at $13 to get you some of the top guys. I'm very heavy on Miesha Tate for FanDuel. So, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to lean Miesha Tate to get some control time over here and hopefully comes back bigger and better and stronger and gets the win here at a $13 price tag. So, onto the main event here. We've got Islam Makhachev versus Thiago Moises. Islam Makhachev is a $23 fighter versus Moises $15 fighter. Minus 850 for Makhachev and plus 540 for Moises. That is a huge line. Minus 124 to go the distance. And before I start this, I'm going to say I buy into the hype of Makhachev, but this line is outrageous. Okay, Moises is not a slouch, but at the same time, I think Makhachev wins. But minus 850, come on. So you don't want to mess with the jiu-jitsu of Moises. That's what I'm saying. Like jiu-jitsu, he's pretty good at jiu-jitsu, Brazilian guy. A lot of these Brazilians are skilled in jiu-jitsu, and he's one of them. And this is the thing where I say minus 850 is crazy. It's a 5-round fight that everyone's wanted to see Makhachev in a 5-round fight because he's done so well in the 3-rounders. How will his cardio hold up? But a lot of these guys, like Khabib's friend, Khabib trains with Khabib. These guys have pretty good conditioning. None of them have showed up bad conditioning, so should hold up. But we haven't seen it from him. We haven't seen that from him yet. So that's why I'm like, could he tire late in the rounds and be susceptible? Could. So Moises is a young, very good jiu-jitsu guy, but this is a tough matchup for him. Makhachev won't let Moises play to his strengths. Makhachev is too skilled and too developed and too trained by Khabib and his team to let Moises play to his strengths, so I don't think he'll let him at all. And he only allows 0.77 significant strikes per minute, which is the best in the UFC in all weight divisions. So only allowing 0.77 significant strikes taken per minute. So this guy does not take damage. He's very good defensively, very skilled, and very smart, just like how Khabib was. Makhachev is a tricky fighter to figure out and a very smart dude. So I'm going to lean Makhachev here. 5-round fight. You think he goes 5 rounds? He should be able to score enough each round to get you over 100 points. $23. I don't know. Maybe I'll take some lines where I fade him and hope he doesn't score as well as the people I think are going to win by finish. D-Rod, Rodrigo, Nacimiento, and Lamos. So, maybe I'll take that shot. But Makhachev should win decidingly here. I think he wins at least 4 rounds. Skill is too skilled, too powerful on the ground. And, let's get Makhachev the win here. Hopefully we don't get any leg breaks or any dumb decisions like we've seen on past cards. But, that's another breakdown. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. And got some big news coming, so stay tuned for that. But, follow me on Twitter at TakedownDFS, at Instagram at TakedownDFS, and at TikTok at TakedownDFS. And, let's break down these. And also, if you guys are into the big 3, they have a new thing on Super Draft. So I'm going to be breaking down the big 3 on my TikTok and Instagram. So make sure to follow that. But if you want my favorite fighters of the week, they'll be on my Instagram and TikTok as well. But make sure to follow me. And thank you guys. And let's take down.